White oak weapon coffer. Wow, they're going to give us a 385 weapon. Huh. And an orchestrion roll. The Tattoo is itching to share what appears to be good news, the Circus Trench. We're going to have voice acting? We are not. Good news, Demajen. We've had a stroke of luck in our search for that beacon. Apparently our colleagues have stumbled across a hidden path leading down into the hollows around the base of the Crystal Tower. Huh? Tattoo not commenting on the fact that I now seem to be a rabbit. A path I doubt we'd ever have found had the Ironworks and the Suns not added their numbers to the party. Thanks to them, we've eager eyes aplenty down there, checking under rocks and peering into every nook and cranny. Still, sounds like a lot of ground to cover. Ah, this is their new quests text selection. Then we'd better go and give them a hand. Oh no, I've still got the animation. My thoughts exactly. The sooner we find this beacon, the sooner you can travel to wherever it is that mysterious voice is coming from. And the sooner we can work out how to help our friends. We have to find a way to wake them up before the Empire comes calling again. Meaning we've no time to lose. Odd, ooh. There's a boat in North Silvertier waiting to ferry people to the site, so let's be on our way. That's kind of a weird jingle. It's not... I'll have to listen to that another couple of times. It sounded kind of weirdly distorted. I don't know if that is intentional. Or maybe my sound settings are playing up, because that would be a good start to the day, wouldn't it? I do like the dark side gauge. I think it looks quite cool. I know a lot of people say, oh, it's just a countdown. Why not have just a number on it? It's like, you can do in simple mode, as it happens. But not hugely worried about that. Is this the same boat that takes us over to... I know, it's that boat that takes us to Keep of the Lake. St. Cunnock Ferryman. Head into the survey site, madam. It's on the eastern shore of the lake and the swiftest ways to get there by boat. Yes. Yes, indeed. New music. Right, so this is the Circus Trench. And obviously, I'm going to completely ignore the NPCs for a moment. Can we mount up here? No, we cannot. So there's not actually much here. We've got, obviously, the big Allagan. So this is underneath the fog and mist that we can see. Coultonay. The air here weighs heavily upon me. 'Tis little wonder, I suppose, when standing in the shadow of such an imposing structure. I've detected no slavering beast in the vicinity. My sister excepted. The Archons need our help. Next to that, even matters of the heart don't seem to matter. Hoi! Demajen! The search continues, but I have no doubt we shall find this beacon of yours. No, I'm going to go and find it, and it's going to be in that crystal over there. Just you watch.
Look how many people there are.
Ooh, Echo.
Should we get to it then? Pick up anything that seems the least bit device-like, and we'll make ourselves a part.
Device-like? Nod.
Well, if it isn't the hero of the hour, maybe you'll change our look.
Why is Biggs Irish?
We're all without you.
Has Biggs always been Irish?
Biggs! Wedge!
Hello. Heart eyes. Aww.
Aye, aye. Well, we could hardly say no to a call for aid from the Scions.
What?
Jesse called it the chief of some other business. So we'll be working twice as hard to make up for his not being here.
As is always the way.
Thrice as hard, even.
Have they got new voice actors?
Thank you, both of you. I'm
Tattoo's
sure
got
we'll
the
find out
same
what
voice
to do in no
actress.
time.
I think. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by Biggs. I can't do an Irish accent. Although I don't think that's really Irish. I'm not good with accents.
I'm not seeing anything out here.
I'm not seeing anything out here.
Do you reckon you could squeeze in there, Wedge?
In there. Actually, that's... Well, that is a little bit Irish.
And get stuck halfway? No, thank you.
I love the little wiggly tuft that he's got.
I could try if you like.
Oh, yes, Tattoo, be useful.
Tataru, no.
Oh, Tataru.
We couldn't ask you to do that.
I'm just gonna...
Fine. This receptionist is not afraid to get her hands dirty.
Hold on. What's that? My ears bob. Told you it was going to be here. That is clearly an empty hand. Oh, no, wait.
Sorry, I meant to say, the scholars haven't finished their preliminary assessment of the site yet, so we're not supposed to venture too far in.
We're not supposed to venture too far in. What's that you got
What's
there?
that you got there? Now that looks promising.
That's... Isn't that the Ironworks symbol?
Isn't that the Ironworks symbol? Counterfeiters?
Whoa! Ooh.
Now I have you.
Hold on.
You are right.
What's happening?
Panic! / panic!
Stay with me. Focus on my voice.
Woo.
Let expanse contract. Eon become
Time travel.
instant.
Wait, this must be it. The device. Oh, this is supposed to happen.
Unlike the pixelation on my hair.
Wide the gates that we may pass.
Oh, safe journey, warrior of light. Find our friends and bring them home.
Bye. Bung. And now, something else happens. Loading. Loading happens. Possibly infinite loading and a world server crash. No? Ah. Ooh, that's pretty. That's a lot of sparklies. And some misty, foggy live stream? It's not wrong colour. This is the expanse between worlds. Oh, and now I'm flying. Or falling, possibly, because I am a rabbit. So these are...
Do not look at me so.
No! You assholes!
This is one battle you cannot fight.
Justinian, Yotsuyo,
We did
Albert.
everything right. Everything that was asked of us, and still it came to this.
Oh, that's from the trailer, isn't it? Whoa. That's Minfilia. Well, the word of the mother. Lights. Now she's facing away from us, so... Oh. Oh, is she still... No, this is part of the Echo.
Your time has not yet come.
Okay. That was a different voice actor. Whoa, that is bright. Which is kind of the point. Glitchy. Is this Albert? Yeah, this is Arbit. The Warrior of Darkness. So this is part of his story, his past. Look at all that darkness, and he still hasn't been able to... Still can't hold it back. Hold back the light. Are we going to get woken by a gremlin? Man, everything is super saturated. Man, that is some stark lighting. But I guess that's the point. Oh, my head. Traveling to another world. Oh, I like that.
From endless dreams I awake.
Ah, so this is just replicating the
Something
trailer.
vague, yet urgent, calls me to action once more.
Yeah, people at the door. And of course, it wasn't anything
There to meet
important.
someone out here is not a peddler themselves.
Hey,
What brings
that's
you into the wilds this time of night?
one of the brothers, isn't it? That's really pretty. I hope I didn't miss anything. What do you mean this time of night?
Well, if it ain't the oldest joke in the book. Me granddad, God's rest his soul, used to tell that one to the barman at kicking out time.
Huh?
And when, pray tell, did we last have a dark night? You rotten old drunk, you, he'd reply.
I wonder if they only say that when there's a dark night, when you've gone through as a dark night, or whether it's just a generic...
100 bleeding years ago, that's when.
I think it's just a joke. I don't think it's actually related to the fact that we are on Dark Knight. It's probably the same regardless of which job you go over on.
You got that look down to a T.
Heh.
I'd almost think you meant it.
He doesn't know.
Ah, got to you, did they?
He thinks we've been
Beggar.
got to by the
That
Sin
explains
Eaters.
it then.
Huh? I don't drink. Suit yourself. He'll have more.
Well, I've roads to travel and wares to sell, but you'd best hurry along to the town nearby.
Okay then. Hello, Chocobo.
Just head east through the trees and aim for the Shining Tower. You'll find the place soon enough. 'Tis the biggest settlement for malms around.
Shining Tower it is then. I wonder what that could be.
Go on now, friend. They'll take good care of you in the Crystarium.
Crystarium. Not Crystarium, Crystarium. This is why I like voiced cutscenes, because it helps you learn how to pronounce the names of things. It's so purple. So we're walking along the same path that Arbit took, by the look of it.
Dizzying heights it rises, the gleaming spire.
its tip threatening to pierce the blinding canopy.
Huh.
There, it will all begin anew. Between dark and light, the pure and the corrupt. The one true struggle.
Mmm. Ooh, spoopy. I really like this piece of music. And we're in, folks. We are in. We are here. We've got full vested XP. Mount is unavailable in this location. Fort job? I'm actually going to follow the path. There is going to be plenty of time for going off the beaten track and exploring. I've just remembered the other thing they've changed, of course, is the HP and MP gauge. Yes, unable to mount is an interesting one. The Ascensor Gates. Oh, I think that this is instanced. That's why we're unable to mount. It doesn't actually count as an outdoors area.
Halt.
Hello? Bun Bun?
Every face in this city I know. Yours, I do not.
Oh, they've chosen some kind of Vieira-sounding voice actors.
This is the threshold of the Crystarium, stranger, and I am its gatekeeper.
Or
If
not.
you would enter, you will answer my questions.
Yeah, kind of Fran-esque. But kind of not. Yeah, as if we
From
answer
where do you
questions.
hail?
Well, technically, Limsa Laminsa. But also, the source.
The source? What is this cryptic nonsense? Had you given me an honest answer, I would not have barred your way. We care little here for a person's place of origin.
So why ask?
But instead, you chose concealment. And I will not suffer you to pass.
Watch out! Sin Eaters! Shiny! Oh! A thing!
That one had eaten. It must have gulped down the whole hand. Ring and all.
I quite like her voice. Oh. Oh! Oh no! Ah, mate, that's why he was wearing a massive ring. That didn't take long.
Everything all right, Captain?
This is... Mysterious Man!
Quite all right, my lord.
My lord?
A stray sin eater, and a weak one at that.
I see. Weak or not, we should
Crystal
be on the lookout for
Exarch.
more. But I see you've met my guest. I will escort her to the
Ha!
Crystarium myself, if you've no objections.
Another of your mysterious friends, is it?
Heh.
Should have known. Very well. I'll inform the others your guest is to be given the run of the city.
Why, thank you.
Pray forgive my less than cordial welcome. May the rest of your stay with us be a pleasant one.
Yeah, they've got that slightly lilting middle of the word accent. Smile. Wow, you're tiny.
Come with me. I will answer whatever questions you have when we are somewhere more private.
He does sound a lot like Alphino, sadly. And I'd rather that not be the case. Because Alphino. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that I'm not a huge fan of the Boy Wonder.
Right then. Before we plunge into the wheres and wherefores, let me first thank you for answering my summons.
Didn't get a whole lot of choice.
I had intended to bring you directly to my personal quarters.
But my aim was off.
My aim was slightly off. That you were still able to make the crossing unharmed is
The crossing.
a great relief. And so, we come to the question of where. The realm in which you now find yourself belongs to one of the 13 reflections or shards.
Yes?
The first, to be precise, even if its inhabitants are largely oblivious to the fact. As to wherefore, having been awarded the rather grandiose title of Crystal Exarch, I, in my capacity as caretaker of the Crystarium, thought to seek the aid of you and your companions.
But why? But why? And how long's that been there? Do you have any idea how much trouble you caused?
That is a question with no simple
Oh,
answer.
good. I don't like
It will
simple
be
answers.
explained in due course, I promise you.
Simple answers are dull and boring. And do not make a
Let us
good
begin
drama.
with the glaring skies up above.
Light.
Here in the first, the world has been all but consumed by primordial light.
Yes.
It began a century ago, by this realm's reckoning. A luminous flood swallowing everything in its path.
More than 9/10.
9/10 of this star was lost. And the fortunate few who survived are hounded by abominations born of that catastrophe even now. Sin Eaters, we call them. The creature you saw earlier was one such monstrosity.
I'm looking forward to finding out why exactly they are called Sin Eaters.
It was to save the first from this menace that I learned to bridge the rift between worlds.
And how exactly did you learn
That
that?
I might call upon the aid of the greatest of heroes.
But we couldn't find any, so you found me instead.
And though it meant depriving a world of its champion, I had to try. For in saving the first, you would bring salvation to the source as well.
No more calamity.
But what manner of host harangues his guests in the middle of the road?
Yeah.
Let us continue our talk within the Crystarium.
Good plan. Let's go and see this new hub city. I'm wondering if this next bit's still going to be instanced or whether we will suddenly be surrounded by people. That is really, really pretty, though. That's good texture work for 14, which, as I've mentioned several times in the past, is not known for its good texture work.
Such a proud and vibrant city.
So is this the Crystal Exarch that's talking? Because I can't quite differentiate the voices yet.
Sole sanctuary for the living in a world all but resigned to oblivion. Each stone was laid with hope. The town itself a symbol.
I'm wondering why they've got lamps.
Defiance in the face of death.
Why do they need lamps if it never gets dark? Ooh.
No would-be hero could fail to answer its call. For who among us does not yearn for salvation?
Huh. So the kind of classic beast tribes, Northrant, the Crystarium, to the Mamul Jar. Is it the Mamul Jar? Yeah. Are farming. And people. Well, welcome. And here we are. Welcome, my friend, to the Crystarium. Ching! I'm assuming we can use this now. deep gold claymore, which is actually slightly better than the weapon that I'm using. So, insufficient armory chest space. Oh. I forgot. I've been leveling the things, haven't I? Oops. I know. Just want to equip that. What's it look like? Pretty cool. Let's use the Orchestrion roll. The Shadowbringers Orchestrion roll is added to your list. Yeah, so they're literally going to give us a whole new set of gear just starting out. Cool. So I've got a good chunk of use out of my... Now, a full and frank discussion in the privacy of my study would seem to be in order. But I think our conversation would be more meaningful were you first to gain a firmer grasp of the situation here. To that end, I would like you to visit a few of the Crystarium's civic leaders and glean something of this world and its predicament. That is quite a nice sword, actually. Aetherite! As you can see, this path will take you directly to the Aetherite, a convenience with which I am sure you are only too familiar. Being the rightful object of my summoning spell, you should in theory be able to reach all the way back along your etheric trail and find a connection to the source, believe it or not. Easy in-world. I strongly suggest you complete this achievement before venturing any further. So an in-world explanation for how we can travel back. After you've done so, walk up the steps next to the Aetherite and head out to the left to arrive in the Crystalline Mean. This is where you'll find our collective of crafters and gatherers, as well as their spokeswoman, Catalys, one of the people I should like you to meet. Another is Moran. To reach him and his Cabinet of Curiosity, you'll want to avoid the aforementioned steps, take the exit on the left, and simply continue straight along and down until you come to the large doors at the end of the path. The third and final person I should like you to meet is Bragi, our man in charge of trade and distribution. He is to be found in the markets, which you can access from the opposite side of the Aetherite Plaza. Okay. When seeking out each of my colleagues, you will visit the major districts of the city and hopefully gain a feel for the place. I trust my directions were simple enough. Nod. Crystal clear. Jokes. Ha! Very good. I can see the layout of the Crystarium owes more to historic necessity than planning, but I'm sure you'll learn its twists and turns before long. In all honesty, the true challenge may be finding the right way to approach its citizens. As you discovered during your encounter with the captain, the people of this world are unaware of the existence of other stars, and will struggle to accept the truth of your origin. That being the case, when they ask where you hail, as they inevitably will, I suggest you claim to share a homeland with the Crystal Exarch. There is an unspoken rule here about peering too deeply into that particular mystery. Oh, okay then. So if it is Rak'Tika, and we can't say for sure, then clearly we do share a homeland. When you finish making the rounds, pray meet me in the large courtyard at the centre of town. Until then... Yeah, that jingle sounds unfinished. Right. People are trying out their abilities, of course. They've got Hrothgar guards. This is very dramatic. Music. Tuning! You attune to the Aetherites. By focusing your senses, you detect the flow of vastly distant currents of ether. Your connection to these energies is faint but stable and should allow teleportation to Aetherites in the source. Good times. It's going to cost us, though. As you would expect. Bragi! Market board, summoning bell. So this is the trade district. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ahoy! New to the city, friend? The spinning head and wide eyes give you away. Welcome. My name is Braggy, and I am the master of these markets. They gave the district another official title, but I'm not in the habit of using it. Too florid by half. In any case, our merchants stock a range of equipment for V's such as yourself, so finding something in your size shouldn't be a problem. I'm sorry, did you say V's? Aye, something wrong. Yeah, because they've all got different names on the source. Let's see if we can straighten this out. See those two in front of us? The shorter one is a Hume. The taller one is an elf. The sturdy individual over there is a Galgant. Whilst the one with the horns is a Dran. And then you have the large scaly chaps with long tails and a knack for raising livestock. Those would be the Zun. Ah. Which is apparently not the name you know them by. Now I'm curious to know which far-flung region you hail from. The mysterious... so is the Exarch, eh? Well, that explains it. You don't get much further flung than that. We've had a few of your lot pass through in recent years, and despite their obvious learning, they floundered over the simplest thing. Recent years. But not to worry. Should you find yourself confused by the local language or customs, I'll be here to answer your questions. Your exchange with Bragi has taught you about the peoples of the First. Right. There is a... I'm assuming, yeah, this is an Ethernet shard. Ba-ba-ba. No. There's also a Mender over here. Who I'm going to talk to. It's handy that they use Gil. Chain Evocates, Materia Menders, Materia Vendors, Crafters, and the like. The Rotunda. Ba-da-da. Okay, let's head down here. Temenos Rookery. I really like this music. This music is good. Planet Nutsy and the Nuts Pod. Got 460,000 XP for that. The Baldaquin. What, Baldaquin? Balderdash? Ooh. Hello, pretty trees. Don't know where that Ethernet shard is. I'm guessing it's above our heads. Oh, that's pretty. We're going to go and explore that in a bit. A Cabinet of Curiosity. A library of sorts. Right. Guy we're after is upstairs. That's a lot of books. Excuse me, miss. Are you recently come to the city, perchance? I'm quite familiar with our civic roles, you see, and, well, ahem. Sorry about that. Had to run to the osteopath for my my back appointment. So, let's carry on. I think we've just managed to escape the AFK timer. Right, is this... This is a guy, isn't it? Okay. What I meant to ask is, have you brought any books with you? A rumpled scroll, even? A scrap of scribbled on parchment? No. My apologies. Literature is something of an obsession of mine, as well as a profession. Librarian Morin, at your service, and this humble collection is known as the Cabinet of Curiosity, which is a great name. As your powers of perception have likely informed you, my colleagues and I are responsible for curating all manner of tomes, documents, and other vehicles for the written word. As horrific as the loss of life and land wrought by the flood unquestionably was, the damage to recorded knowledge was no less catastrophic. We few do all we can to preserve what wisdom survived. But tell me, what brings you to the cabinet today? Looking for any title in particular? Maybe a spot of academic research? Oh, so you have an interest in modern history. Splendid. A thorough review of recent events can often yield novel perspectives, I quite agree. If you prefer something visual to accompany the account, then I think I have an illustrated history book for children somewhere. Just a moment and I'll fetch it for you. That's not patronising at all. But we're going to get pretty pictures to look at, so that'll be good. And here we are. Would you like to pull up a chair? Make yourself more comfortable? On with the lesson then. Tell me history. Give me lore. All the lore. 100 years ago, or near enough not to matter, villains known as the Warriors of Light slew the Shadowkeeper, the Steward of Darkness. This is new. In the wake of this tainted deed, light began to pour into the world as if from unseen cracks. It pooled and swelled without cease until the day an enormous blinding wave rose up and swept across our star. We call this calamity the Flood of Light. Everything it touched was leached of life and vigour, leaving naught behind but a luminous wasteland. Yet, just when it seemed that all would be lost, a saviour appeared before us. The Oracle of Light. She stood twixt us and approaching doom, and by her power did she stay the flood. Thus was Norvent, and Norvent alone spared the fate of erasure. Tragedy would, however, arrive in another form. From the blasted emptiness descended horrors of strange and terrible aspect to bedevil the few folk who survived. These sin-eaters were light incarnate, and their fulgent presence stole the night from northern sky. Even now they circle the remaining bastion of civilization, ever on the hunt for us, ever hungering for our flesh. So, Shadowkeeper, was it? And thus did the world become what it is. Should you ever wish to hear this tale again, I would be glad to retell it for you. Or if you'd rather I speak of other matters, that too would be my pleasure. I shall be glad of the company. Your exchange with Morn has taught you about the Flood of Light. Excellent, we are actually still connected to the server. I thought it might have just left us in the cutscene, but kicked us out as soon as we were no longer part of it. Right. So, next... Bro! Etherite Plaza? And it was up the steps, if I remember correctly. It's been 40 minutes. As you can tell from the timestamps in the top corner. Ba, ba, ba. I really like this music. Ba, ba, ba. Is this guy selling level Oh, he's selling grade 7 dark matter. I was actually wanting to check whether anybody is selling armor. I mean, I've got 385. I know, I've got 380. Oh, that's a really lush green. And this is above. So that you can't see people down there, I suppose. I imagine that helps the frame rate out. Catalyst! So this is the crafting place? Yeah, this is crafting. Fishing! Rare to see a place so well stocked with goods, isn't it? But not here. I'm going to guess you're new to our fair city. Well, for what it's worth, you've chosen a fine sanctuary. The Exarch can throw up a barrier if the Sin Eaters come knocking, so it's a damn sight safer in here than it is out there. Safer and more civilized too, thanks to us in the mean. We work together to procure materials and resources and craft the goods which make the city life possible. This is the place to visit if you need a coat mended or a kettle forged. Just don't go thinking it'll all be handed to you on a plate like those in Yulmurian layabouts. Here in the Crystarium, we work for a living. Though I see you're no stranger to honest labour. You don't have that whiff or indolence about you like some folk I've met. Still, I can't quite pin down your profession. Where is it you're from? What did the Exarch's countrymen, you say? I see. They've got an elegant sphere over there. Well then, I'll work twice as hard to make you feel welcome. Our city wouldn't even exist if it weren't for him, and any friend of his is a friend of ours. That's handy. It's really quite incredible when you think about it. They say his grand magic summoned the Crystal Tower into existence, pulled the entire thing out of thin air. So that explains why it's here. It wasn't long before droves of refugees began congregating around its base, desperate for shelter after losing their homes to the flood. And that's how the Crystarium began. At the Exarch's invitation, buildings started going up, and with the help of some curious relics brought forth from the tower, the place gradually expanded into the thriving metropolis you see today. So that's why there's an Allegan node there, because this is actually... It is the Crystal Tower. I wonder if it's literally the same one. Just straddling shards. Because that would explain, you know, the Allegan presence. And I suppose the fact that you can get tombstones. The city's stood here for decades now, yet the eldest amongst us swear the Exarch looks exactly the same as he did back then. What, the fact that he's turning to crystal? He is indeed a man of many mysteries, but for all his secrecy, he has never yet let us down. So if he and you wish to remain silent about your shared homeland, then the folk here will respect your wish for privacy. I am, however, more than a little curious to see any crafting talent you might be hiding. If you've aught to contribute on that front, be sure to come back and visit once you've had a chance to settle in. Just ask for Catalyst, and I'll find you a niche here in the crystalline mean. You can help us keep the cogs of the great city greased and turning. Your exchange with Catalyst has taught you about life in the Crystarium. Wonderful! But more importantly, it's given us a little bit of information about... Did I attune to this one? I think I did. I did. Right. So there are others... Need to get my Ethernet shards. Aged Amaro Tamer. Hello? We have a Morrow for hire if you're interested. Actually, before I forget, let me add your name to our register. That way you'll be able to come back here anytime you like. Ah, so he's the Chocobo Porter. Of course, Chocobos aren't... It's not that they're not a thing. But... But these are the cannons that we saw in one of the trailers. The Exarch. Not to be confused with the Exodar. Maybe. It is a very nice looking place. Have we attuned to this one? We have not. The Docile Gates. That gate looks oddly familiar. Oh, yeah, because it's the gate that we get into the Crystal Tower by. Well, how did you fare? Did my colleagues help you form a clearer picture of the world? This world and its people? Yes, and apparently we wrote it all down. Yes, it seems you were treated to a most thorough introduction. I understand it was something of a chore, but it was necessary that you grasp these things before we proceed. As for the Crystal Tower's origin, you may have noted the details were sparse. The structure is, in fact, the self-same one you know from the source, transported to the first in its entirety. It was my first attempt at breaching the boundaries between worlds, something of a trial run for your eventual crossing. And though I do not know which era I tore it from, I do know that its arrival served to set the wheels of fate in motion. Ah! So it is the same Crystal Tower, but from our future? Perhaps? Interesting. Oops. Right. We have a white oak chest gear coffer. Cannot equip that slot. Did we just get the one piece? Yeah, so I think it's going to give us pieces of gear as we go, starting with this rather nice piece, which handily seems to go with my choice of color scheme entirely by accident. Yes, I'm not going to put on the fending earring. Right. Yeah, so he's going to give us... Oh, it's got a little like on it, so it's going to give us the legs for the next bit. The Crystal Exarch is finally ready to discuss the matter of your comrades' whereabouts. You've done as I requested and learned something of the world in which you find yourself. Now it's time I fulfilled my half of the bargain and explained what has befallen your comrades. That is a conversation I would rather have in the privacy of my quarters, however. I must go on ahead to the tower and organise a few things, but I shall see that the guard knows to admit you. Just like that, then Rak'Tika is... I'm not familiar with that name. Is this something I should know? An extraordinary tale, but I'm afraid I found no such individual residing in the tower when it passed into my care. Mayhap we can revisit this mystery another time. But now I think it best that we focus on the present. Yes, because Graha went to sleep in the tower. So, according to him, he is not Rak'Tika. Greetings, madam. The Exarch awaits you within. Enter the Crystal Tower. So I'm guessing then that he has ripped it from the future.
Welcome to the Ocular, my private study. We can speak here without fear of being overheard.
Okay.
I have much to explain, but the truths which I must touch upon in doing so would cause only distress and confusion to the people of this world. Pray keep that in mind.
Okay. I can do that. Nod.
Now, I am sure you are desperate to know the fate of your fellow scions.
Not as desperate as you might think, if I'm honest.
To put it simply, they are here in the first.
But?
Their arrival, however, was not as recent as you may imagine. Here, time flows at a different pace from In the space of a single hour in your home world, an entire year might pass in the first. And the reverse could also be true. The pace fluctuates without rhyme or reason, and it cannot be predicted.
In other words, we're working on dramatic time, and it will fluctuate according to how best to serve the story. And I'm fine with that. I'm sure a lot of people say, oh, that's inconsistent. We don't like that. It's a typical storytelling contrivance. I'm fine with it.
That said, we seem to be entering a period of near equivalence. And thus, for the moment, you need not overly concern yourself with the passage of time.
So we can travel back and forth and not contradict previous events. Or future events. How handy.
However, Y'shtola and Urianger have dwelled here for 3 winters, all told.
That was been here 3 years.
Count stands at 5.
And Thancred at 5.
Even our more recent arrivals, Alphino and Alize, have lived in the first for almost a year.
Okay. Well.
My intention had been to summon only you, but the art of reaching across worlds has proven exceedingly difficult to master. Thus it was that my fumbling hand closed upon those to whom your fate is most closely bound as well.
You suck, Crystal Exarch. Get good.
As they were not the object of my summons, their transference was incomplete. Though they may appear to possess corporeal bodies, they are in truth merely spirits that one can see and...
which is why their bodies are left on the source, comatose.
Consequently, while you yourself will be able to pass between worlds with relative freedom, they will not.
Oh.
Much as it grieves me, they are stranded here, unable to return.
For now, anyway. We'll fix that, undoubtedly. What have they been doing all this time? Adjusting, I would imagine.
We spent every waking hour searching for a way to reverse the summoning. In the beginning, at least.
But then they became resigned to their fates.
As you may have surmised, however, our efforts met with little success. And then we all but abandoned the endeavor once Urianger shared with us the vision he had witnessed during his journey through the rift. In that chaotic no man's land between realms, time and space warp and blend in
unexpected ways.
What Urianger saw was the future. That which would one day come to pass. In his vision of tomorrow, the first was rejoined with the source. This collision of worlds brought about the 8th umbral calamity and the deaths of countless multitudes.
So we need to hold back the light or that happens.
Amongst those who perished, Urianger clearly saw the fall of the Scion's mightiest champion.
Oh.
He watched you die.
Oh. Well, that'd suck.
And thus did the Scions embrace their exile and began searching this world for means to forestall the coming catastrophe.
Not massively surprising, if I'm honest.
Their souls are stranded in the first, yes, but they have fought on, desperate to save their home and
bless them.
From destruction. Nor have their efforts been in vain, for it was they who finally established that the elimination of the Sin Eaters will indeed serve to prevent the calamity.
How did they come across this knowledge?
Considering these circumstances of our meeting, you would be forgiven for doubting my version of events.
So here are your friends.
And so, before all else, I would suggest you track down your comrades and hear the tale from their lips. I shall of course be happy to assist in these reunions, and you need not make any decisions regarding your involvement until you are certain of where you stand.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I promise I will not rest until I have found a way to help your friends return home.
I like the subtle reverberation, the echo in the voice that makes it sound like we're actually in a big room. It's a tiny little touch, and it's an obvious touch, but one that, you know, some companies might miss.
What say you? Have I earned your trust for the moment, at least?
Yeah, guess so. But I'll see you keep that promise.
Excellent. You will not regret this.
Unless the plot demands I do.
With that settled, we shall have to see about getting you ready for the road.
Oh, good. We're going places.
Traveling across the rift has no doubt left you weary. I will arrange for a room where you might rest in comfort. While it's being prepared, perhaps I can show you around.
Okay. Why can't we have a room in the Crystal Tower? There's billions of them. Right, Crystal Exarch. There are a lot. Oh, somebody has chosen Hrothgar. Has anybody else chosen Hrothgar? Yep, there's another one over there. I'm not actually seeing all that many bunnies either. I suppose with the login servers being a little bit sporadic, shall we say, people have decided not to Fantasia just yet. The Crystarium boasts a number of residential districts, but I have been informed that a room has just become available at the Pendants, which, as it turns out, is perfect. Our path there will take us past the markets, and I was hoping to give you my own introduction to their wares. Come along. Come along, Pond. Okay, onwards. Ba, ba, ba. It's a weird sword. Ah, is this the place that we saw from above? It may be. Have we attuned to it? Yes, we have. So we've been here before. I like the tours. It's interesting that they've given us gear that basically replaces most things except the highest tier of dungeon gear. Was that 385?
This is the Musica Universalis, the commercial heart of the Crystarium. What you might need to prepare for your journeys can be purchased here.
Interesting. So it's taking us around this place again. But I suppose it's also pointing out different things.
Ah, yes. You must be curious about the currency. Fear not. The gil you carry will serve you well enough.
That's handy.
Each nation once minted its own coins, but 'twas all a jumbled mess following the flood. After much debate, the local merchants eventually elected to revert to the old ways, wherein a coin's value was decided by the worth of its metal.
Ah.
As for a unit of measurement, we agreed upon the term gil, a word borrowed from coins uncovered.
How handy.
Tower here. And as our traders peddled their wares across the land, so too did our usage of gil become common practice. From what your stola tells me, a standard coin from the source equates to exactly 1 gil here, or near enough not to matter.
How handy.
Life has benefited greatly from the artifacts we recovered from the tower.
Just like on the source.
Some of which may be familiar to you.
Elegant tombstones. Shocking. And cash registers. Oh no. I've got one of those. Yes, I love it. Oh no, more tombstones.
I fear it would not be practical for us to provide everything to which you are accustomed.
Oh, that's really tickled me.
To access the commodities of your home world. A Van Kerm Sin?
Yes, I'm here. Of course I'm here. What amusements do you have for me today?
Hello, Pixie friend.
My dear Feo-Ul.
Feo-Ul.
Pixie kind. For you, I have the most vital task.
Oh, yes.
This fine lady is a friend from a distant realm.
Hi.
And we have need of a means to ferry things back and forth from her home. Might you be able to assist us in this matter?
Huh.
You came from beyond, didn't you? From beyond the rift?
Yes.
How wonderfully exciting. What a brave and reckless and marvelous thing you did. You've the heart of a pixie, you do.
What, really small?
After careful consideration, I have decided to grant you my assistance.
Oh, thanks.
Make a pact with me and the fun can begin.
Now, as somebody who studied Celtic myth and fairy tale for his degree, and who writes a considerable amount about the Fey folk and the more traditional, not the kind of romanticized Tolkien-esque version of the Fey folk, making a pact or a deal with a fairy or even a promise to a fairy is a terrible, terrible idea. So this couldn't possibly go wrong.
But answer me this, traveller. Did your garments come with you when you crossed over?
Yes.
Your nails?
Yes. Why are we thinking about this?
Just as I thought. Then you've a good stout connection with your home,
Stout.
through which all your belongings, great and small, may easily pass.
Okay. They're coming through us.
From this moment forth, I will be your Isne Fis, and you my Snay Yak. Like the branch which sprouts from the sapling, our bond will flow on.
I am an adorable
from
sapling.
one to the other.
At 6'4", I am quite happy to be called adorable sapling.
Raise your hand.
Am I attuning to the fairy? Pixie, sorry. Bing.
Tis done. We are bound now, dearest sapling.
She sounds so excited. She, he? I'm assuming it's a she, but you should never assume.
Come then. Make your request. Tell me your desire. I wish to visit this world of yours.
Mayhap her message to your friends in the Source to inform them of your safe arrival.
Good plan. I'm totally sending a message to Taru. Interesting that we get the option of sending a message to Kryl as well. Obviously, it's going to go to Kryl via Taru. So, how can the Pixie travel between worlds?
As you heard, that was Feo-Ul of the Pixies. Their kind possess an affinity for magic akin to that of arcane beings.
Okay.
They rarely show themselves in populated areas, but Feo is insatiably curious even by Pixie standards.
How handy.
And seems to have taken a liking to the Crystarium.
We're going to meet some more of the Pixies as we
We're going
go.
to organise a room for you, won't we? Come along.
Come along. That whole section has really tickled me. I like the character of Feo-Ul. I'm very, very pleased with that cutscene to do with the tombstones. As a result of your pact with Feo-Ul, you now have access to delivery moogles, market boards, and summoning bells while in the First. So that's what Yoshi P was talking about when he said that they've got an in-game explanation for how we can travel and get stuff across realms. And I'm very happy with that explanation. And I'm not even mad about the tombstones, if I'm honest. Have I attuned to this one? No, I have not. Oh, I'm going to have to learn the names of all these places, aren't I? So you have attuned yourself to all the Ethernet shards in the Crystarium. Lakeland is now accessible. You've gained access to Tessellation. Love a good red brick building. This reminds me of some of the fancier places in Birmingham. The British Birmingham, not the American one. Ah, there you are. I was just finalising the matter of your accommodation. You'll have a private room here at the Pendants for the duration of your stay, to make use of as you see fit. When you're ready to retire, the manager will show you to your lodgings. Pray, rest and recuperate, and we shall reconvene in the ocular anon. I believe that covers all the practical concerns. Where are the toilets? Thank you for answering my call, Demajen. We are denied the comforting blanket of night, but my peaceful dreams attend you nonetheless. Right, I wish to see... I was going to say, I wish to see what the in-room is like. A pleasure to meet you, miss, and welcome to your new home at the Pendants. Your room is ready if you care to retire. Please. I want to see what the in-room is like. Oh, this is homely. An armoire! A glamour dresser. Oh, we get more glamour dresser things, don't we? Glamour plates. And more glamour slots. Throw wide the gates. At the windows. I'm so not funny. What a pretty skybox. Oh, sad face. You. Albert!
I know you. You're the warrior of light from the source.
I certainly am. May look a bit different.
What? Did you just... You can hear me?
Yes, yes I can.
Oh, gods, how long has it been?
Oh, has he been underground without being able to talk to anyone?
That was what I called myself in your world. The warrior of darkness.
What's his actual name? Because I think Albert was the name that he took on as well, wasn't it?
My real name is Ard.
Oh no, oh Ardbert, that's it.
I used an alias in the source. A daft one, looking back.
Oh, it was Ard. Was... I can't remember. Ardbert. My name's Bert and I'm Ard.
If you recall my tale, it was my comrades and I who caused the flood.
Yes. Did too well.
We thought our home doomed. And so we listened to the Ascians. Let them guide us to the source and tried to hasten their god's damned ardor. I remember when we fell. Defeated by you and yours. I remember our audience with Minfilia. How she listened to our pleas and returned our souls to the first. The flood was poised to swallow Norvrant. Minfilia and my friends, they surrendered what little they had left.
Oh, they're all gone.
Just faded away. Leaving me to bear witness. Tell me, do you know the year? How much time has passed?
It's been 100 years.
A 100 years. 100 long years.
Well, that sucks. I felt sorry for him back then, but now that he's the only one of his band left. Yeah, he's like Thancred and the others.
My hands find no purchase. My gestures catch no eye, and my pleas, be they whispered or screamed, reach not a single ear.
So we're the first person he's been able to speak to in
I am
decades.
Shade, cursed to do naught but drift.
Ah, but now we are here. Resolute face.
I feel as if I've been walking forever. I hardly noticed when my mind and body began to fray at the edges. Then bang! My senses were sharp again. I felt like a fish being reeled in, and before I knew it, I found myself in this room.
We are linked, you and I, Ardbert.
Why is it that you can see me? What are you even doing here, come to that?
We've come to stop it. Well, I came for a makeover. But we came searching for our
You were
friends.
summoned to save the first. A waste of time. This world is beyond saving. Like those who try to save it.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Muddled as my mind may be, I've not forgotten that.
That was then, and this is now.
But if fate has brought me to you, the one person in this God's forsaken world who can see and hear me, then perhaps there is a reason I endured. If I can find out why I was left behind, then maybe I can bring this journey of mine to an end.
I'm wondering if this is the bit that changes depending on which class you come over. Maybe it changes to one of the others. Or maybe it is just Ardbert, because I know the role quest thing is part of the main story.
I'll be watching, Warrior of Light. But do me a favor. Be careful out there. This world has had its fill of heroes.
What a decidedly sad tale. My ears are clipping through my pillow. How do people sleep like this? Ooh, is that stuff leaking in through the doors? No? Well, maybe it was, but now we are off to do things. Ba, 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 ba. Bunnies everywhere. As you might expect. So, the Docile Gates. It's the quickest and easiest way of remembering what things are and where to go. Just want to take a look around. Very impressive. Very impressive stuff indeed. Ba 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 ba. Right, back we go. Mistress Demajen. Into the ocular? Ocular. Portal to the source.
How did you find your new quarters? I trust you were able to rest?
They were a little bit haunted, if I'm honest. I had a ghostly visitor.
I was not aware the room was haunted, and you were rather tired. Well, should you receive another visitation, be sure to let me know.
Wouldn't it be interesting if Ardbert was actually a figment of our imagination?
Now, let us return to the subject.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time if you'd done the Dark Knight questline. So it's going to send us after the Scions. Ooh, it's map time!
This map shows the lands of Northrend, the only area to be spared the flood of light.
So this is basically Outland from the Burning Crusade. Realistically, it's a pocket dimension cut off with its own bits and pieces. So we've got Yulmore, which is Limsa. We've got... I can't read this script. This is new. That's Ishgard. Well, that's where Ishgard would be. This is where... That's the Black Shroud. This would be Thanalan. What's here normally? Oh, God, my geography is terrible. Or maybe this is where Gridania would be. It's rough, anyway. Rough approximations.
The Crystarium is here, in the region known as Lakeland.
I'm sure somebody will overlay things.
To the north is the fairy kingdom of Ilmeg. That is where you'll find Urianger.
So, Ilmeg is Kurthus.
To the east lies the once prosperous civilization of Rak'Tika. Your Stola is stationed there.
So, Rak'Tika is Gridania.
Alas, neither location can be reached without considerable difficulty.
Handy!
As such, I would suggest you first seek out one of the twins, each of whom is stationed but a short flight from the Crystarium. Alphino is on Calusia, an island off the western shore. It is home to a city called Yulmore, where the rich and privileged
I am intrigued by that place.
For his part in furthering our cause, Alphino journeyed there to meet with the citizenry and forge alliances. From what I hear, he has since kept himself busy gathering information around the main settlement.
That's what Alphino does. And annoys me is the other thing that he does.
Traveled south to the arid wastes of Armorang.
The deserts, Thanalan.
They lie upon the very edge of the inhabitable world, where the flood of light was halted. Those who dwell there live in constant fear of attack by the Sin Eaters.
I wonder whether we get the choice of which way we go.
In contrast to her brother, Alize felt that her energies would better be spent learning about the enemy, and thus she sells her services as a guard, both to hone her skills and gather.
That's an interesting choice from Alize, especially as a red mage, which I'm assuming she still is. Didn't actually pay a huge amount of attention to Alize in the Trust video. That's a cool transition.
So, will it be Calicia or Armorang?
Oh, we get to choose.
Simply inform me once you have made your decision, and I will see to it that you are provided with a suitable mount. Ah, but you must be wondering about Thancred. He has taken up with a new
Miniphilia.
And is presently engaged as a wandering hunter of Sin Eaters. Being ever on the move, his whereabouts are often difficult to ascertain, but I am certain your paths will cross ere long.
As they tend to do with Thancred. Smile. Nod. Yeah, I'm glad I went for these eyes on the Viera, the Vis, because they seem quite expressive. I like that motif. That's a good one. Right, so we got some leg gear. Smilodon skin. Yeah, I think all of these are going to be upgrades. Which is cool. Very cool indeed. Interesting that the Aetheryte earring is cut down to 290. Yeah, but we'll be wearing that till level 71 anyway. We've got a long way to go at 12 million. I think I'm going to go to... See, the thing is, everybody knows that I loathe Alphino. I've had my fill of Alphino since Heavensward. So I'm wondering, do I get the Alphino stuff out of the way? because I am actually quite intrigued by Yulmore, and then save myself the Alizé stuff, the Thanland stuff till after that. I think I might do that. I think I might get Alphino out of the way. But it is interesting that gives you the path. You'll have to tune in next episode to find out exactly what I do and what I choose, because that is going to do it for this episode. I'm really liking this so far, but I was always going to. I'm a fan. Maybe even a fanboy, but definitely a fan. Either way, as a lover of stories, so far this has had lots of interesting detail, and, you know, naturally the start of a new expansion involving alternate worlds is going to grab my attention. Just the way the Burning Crusade did in World of Warcraft. I'm going to go get some lunch. I'm going to come back and I'm going to play some more. Catch you all in the next episode. Little Pip.
Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button and subscribe. Remember to ring the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos go live. And until next time, Toodle Pip.